Hello, good people. First of all, welcome, man, to the latest episode of Terrible Towel Tuesday. I am your host, SimFBallCritic, alongside our lovely family. We got Kenyon, but more importantly, we got Lanisha in the building. You know, we've been trying to get the ladies back. Sade may make an appearance, as well as Destiny. Debbie probably not, not telling all her business, but she has a lot going on right now as far as work and such. So she might not make it tonight. But even if it's just myself, Lanisha, and Kenyon, we're gonna give you guys a quick show, but it's gonna be packed with a lot of information. So I'm not even gonna waste a lot of time. Apologize for again the 9 o'clock thing, and let me just throw this out here, and I might say it again before the show is over. I might be doing 9 o'clock just between now until about mid-June. While my son's AAU schedule is popping, because, I always say that, maybe my wife could take him to practice, but I knew I was lying. We both go and we watch. Oh, actually, we work out. We worked out tonight because there's a gym there. It's it's an hour and a half. But anyway, look for that to probably be 9 p.m. Eastern time, just for the interim, for the short period. And then we'll get back to 8 p.m., in due time. But anyway, without further ado, man, like I said, we got a packed full show tonight in a short amount of time, trying to be out of here by 10 o'clock. So let me stop talking and get the show started. We got a lot to talk about, man. And the first question I'm going to throw to my lovely guest, first and foremost, and ladies first. So we'll let Lanisha definitely give her 2 cents, and then Kenyon can kick his off as well. And then back to me. First question I have, Lanisha, what are your thoughts on the Steelers' latest roster moves? And just to give you an idea where I'm going with it, I'm talking about Cordero Patterson, Quez Watkins, Dean Lowry, and quarterback Kyle Allen. What are your thoughts on that?
Thing about Mr. Patterson, I'll just call him that so I don't mess him up. But I've seen.
No, so it looked like you froze for a second, but we can hear you now.
I'm just going to call him Mr. Patterson because I don't want to butcher his first name. But from some of the comments I've seen, people are really excited about him. I think they have him listed as a running back kick returner, and I think he's got like a 2-year deal for $6 million. I didn't know much about Kyle Allen. I think I know he's a quarterback. I believe he's coming from the Bills. It's solid because you've got Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. And then the other person is Quez Watkins. I knew a little bit about him from being on the Eagles. Seems like a fast guy, so I'll take it. And then the last one, I think, is Dale Lowry. I think he's going to be on the defense. Yeah, so, not bad. I know they have to watch the cap money, so if you can get some, decent signings for, a short amount of time and a little bit of money, I'll take it.
I'm with you. What you got, Kenyon? I'm real interested in here, just to try to edge you a little bit. I'm interested in hearing your thoughts on Quez Watkins, but overall, how do you feel about those recent moves?
They're all depth moves. You got to fill your roster out. I can understand the Patterson thing. I kind of saw it coming. We had Ibikwe last year, so he would basically take that role. And with the new kickoff rule, that's why I said I saw it coming, because when they changed that rule, I was like, yeah, Steelers going to try to get somebody that can return kicks because of the way they're going to structure the kickoffs now. So it's just they're all depth moves to me. Quez, he's kind of he hasn't really done too much, but he's fast. I guess it's another depth piece that you add. Both receiver signings to me are depth pieces. I think the Steelers will draft a receiver. I think receiver will be the number one priority, or number 2 in this draft, and they'll address it. Whether it's the first round, excuse me, I just got in, so it's either going to be the first round or the second or third that they attack receiver. So they need another receiver to go along with George, and if you have somebody like that, but I like what they've done, and they're addressing speed, which to me is something I think they were looking at. That they lacked. And in this new offense, that play action, speed helps you. And now Quez is kind of slight, and he's not a physical guy because you put him in a slot. I don't know if they worked him in a slot for Philly, but he's kind of more of like an inside guy. So we'll see. But so far, I'm cool with it.
Yeah, man, I don't have too much to add. I was interested to hear what Kenya had to say about Quez, only because it's funny. It's kind of the same thoughts. I mean, speed makes sense. And the first thing I thought about is like, okay, maybe Arthur Smith is looking to still kind of do the play action, run heavy, burn a guy deep, one-on-one, deep down the field. Russell throws deep outside. But the question I have, man, isn't Calvin Austin, could he be Quez Watkins if that's what you're doing? So it's interesting that now we have two guys kind of like that. Quez is probably a little bigger than Calvin Austin in terms of, I think, stature, but don't buy into the hype, guys. I think Kenyon is absolutely right. They're going to draft a wide receiver. I think they're just filling out the roster. You got to go to camp with some guys and you let these guys duke it out. And, Quez perks up in training camp, give him a shot, and there you have it. But other than that, that's how I look at it. Kyle Allen, I'm cool with that. I mean, listen, a couple things I want to say really fast to Steeler Nation, because y'all always do this. I saw so many complaints about that signing and Kadero Patterson. And like Lanisha said, quite a few people are happy about it. But I just paid attention to the people who try to attack these signings. After everything that the Steelers have already done, what else? Like, who else were y'all thinking? What big swing that y'all really think was going to happen in terms of a signing? Kyle Allen is clearly just going to be the third string guy. I mean, don't read too much into that. The competition or the quarterback that we all should be concerned about is Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. We're not worrying about Kyle Allen. So what difference does that make? And Kadero Patterson. People going crazy about that. Oh, this dude is over the hill, blah, blah, blah. Not as a returner. Remember, we do have Najee Harris and Jalen Warren that are going to be the 1-2 punch. So the few people that I saw poking fun at the signing of an old 33-year-old running back, I'm like, okay, so y'all clearly, again, I don't want to pick on people's perception. I'm just saying,
I do.
Come on, man. Y'all reading too deep into it. Like, he's clearly going to be a returner. And how about this? If I want to get into my trickery bag, what about me throwing a formation out there with Kadero Patterson, Jalen Warren, and Najee Harris?
Which is what they're going to do.
Yep.
What if we throw a little Ravens, San Francisco action out there, formation-wise, where you like, okay, who's getting the ball? Because don't forget, Kadero Patterson did come in the league kind of more so a receiver. Like, he can catch. This could be interesting. But, I'm just saying, I'll take it. He's definitely going to be signed as a specialist, and we might use him in offense. And hey, proven guy. So I'll take it. Other than that, I don't know much about Dean Lowry. Kenyon, I don't know if you know too much about him, but
yeah, I know. I haven't seen him too much, but he's kind of like the same signing we had last year. Kind of a depth piece, but you kind of need that. I think I think that he'll help. In the rotation, he'll probably be in the rotation. Him and Loudermilk, and if they draft somebody, they might be in the rotation. I think DeMarvin Lill has been put on notice, so I think this is kind of like a thing where you kind of see what may be going on. But what did I text you and Tony about the Steelers? Which is why when you tell me that people were complaining, what did I tell you about the Pittsburgh Steelers? They shop at the Dollar Tree. That's what they're about. Steelers about the Dollar Tree. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to go get Louis Vuitton, no Prada. They're not shopping on Rodeo. They shopping down the street at Walmart. They're shopping down the street at whatever little small bargain-based place you can get, and they're gonna try to make that work. They do little splashes. They don't do big splashes because they understand the cap, and they understand they don't want to be in a situation where they're suffering the next year. So you can't get everybody you want. It's a small market team. I just find it fascinating when people complain. So it's just fascinating to me because it makes me think, are you really a Steelers fan? Because if you knew the Steelers, you would know that they don't really do that. Even if you say it's changed, they're not changing like that. They're not rolling like that. They're not, they're not. So, I just find it interesting. And like I said, always remember, Steelers shop at the Dollar Tree. They're about that.
Yeah, and they made a big swing. They went and signed Patrick Queen. So for in honor of Lanisha being on, and she'll understand the reference, for all the lovely ladies, it's the equivalent of the ladies who go buy the Louis bag, right?
Yep.
But then they go to DSW and get a pair of shoes.
Yep.
Exactly.
Or, they might go into any little store in the mall to get the shoes and pair of jeans, but they went and got the Louis bag.
Yep.
So they take one quick swing, but the whole outfit, they're not drenched in. Ladies do that all the time. Y'all know what I'm saying. That's
I do myself.
Yeah, that's what the Steelers did. They just didn't put the entire Gucci or Louis outfit on. Right. No harm, no foul. So
they didn't want the whole fit. They just wanted the one thing. They just got the one thing to distract you, because the rest of the stuff could be cheap. But they got that one thing that you're looking at. See, now you're not looking at the whole outfit. You know what I mean? So that's I find it interesting when people do that. You know what I'm saying? It's interesting.
That's all. So, all right, moving right along, guys. Great conversation there. And look at me trying to have some structure on the steel table. Second question I have here. Let's see. Next question coming your way, Lanisha. Let's talk about this quarterback situation. I'm just going to throw it in the air, and both you and Kenyon can, say whatever y'all want to say about it. And again, for anybody who's been under a rock, the Steelers first acquired Russell Wilson. They then traded Kenny Pickett, and then they traded for Justin Fields, all while doing that for under $4 million. So we have a 35-year-old proven veteran, Super Bowl winning quarterback, should have had two. I know it was Pete Carroll and company, but Russell Wilson, listen, as much as I love you, as much as you from the hometown, I need a quarterback to be like, check. I'm just saying, sometimes you go against what the coach is saying. If it's easier said than done, because I'm sitting here in this chair, I'm not on the football field, but if Beast Mode just gave me 9 and we on the 1, and coach telling me on first down or whatever it was, throw a slant, no. Because you know who would have checked out of that? Big Ben. Ben checking out of that.
Joe Burrow.
I'm almost guaranteed he's checking out of that and handing it to the bus or Levy, whoever's back there behind him. I'm just saying.
Joe Burrow would have checked out.
They checking out.
Jordan
Come on,
would have
Russ.
checked out of that. Michael Vick would have checked out of that.
I needed you to stick your chest out on that one, but I still love you. But anyway, veteran, probably on the downslide, can still play. And then you got this 25-year-old kid with ginormous potential. We just haven't quite seen it. He's still fighting Kenyon's analogy about the Ohio State QB.
You're right.
So far, Justin Stroud CJ Stroud is the only one.
He's the only one.
So again, Lanisha, how did you feel about this entire process or situation with these quarterbacks?
I'll be honest. Mark Bergen lives in the Carolinas like I do, and he made a good analogy. He said, would you rather have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields or Kenny Pickett and Mason Rudolph? I'm sorry. I'd rather have Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. If you put it that way. I like Russell Wilson. I follow him on Instagram. I know a lot of people don't care about that, but he's been working out, and I think he's a proven quarterback, and I think he'll do a good job. I don't think they treated him right in Denver. That's just my own opinion. I've heard a lot of the Broncos fans say it. I saw a game where Sean Payton, who I cannot stand, was literally in that man's face at him like he was crazy. And I thought, if you did that to me, it would be the last time. So I'm glad he's going to be in a better environment. And Justin Fields, people can say whatever they want, but I like Justin Fields. I think the kid's a hard worker, and I think he needed a different situation. I mean, Chicago, as much as I hate to say it, they have an indoor situation with the coaches. Matt Nagy's here, he's gone. And I don't know about that GM they have, Kevin Poles. My dad still lives there, and I think he may be right. I think Kevin, what's his name? The Poles guy is trying to be like the Chiefs. I don't think that's going to go so well for them. And I'm going to say something and people aren't going to like it. But I have to agree with what my dad said. He said, if I was a quarterback coming out of the draft, I would not want to go to the Bears. I mean, They need to get it together. And even though he polls is promising, oh, I'm going to, do right by the fans, I'm going to get it together, I just don't think it's true. So I said it.
Yeah, polls. I don't know, brother. You're gonna have to.
I don't know what he's doing.
We gonna see. That's all I can say.
I don't want to say it.
Man.
Yeah,
I already know how you feel, but
I can't look. I'm not gonna get in depth in this stuff. I told SimFBallCritic, but I had a conversation with the number 1 pick, so I hate to say this because I don't want him to be in a situation where he has to save them, and that's how I feel until they prove me wrong. I worry about him because I think he has so much potential and talent that I don't want to put him in a situation where he doesn't. I don't want them to David Carr him, if you understand what I mean, and they don't help him out. And he doesn't, he's not going to walk into the Bears and have the best left tackle in the NFL like C.J. Stroud did. He's not going to do that. It's not happening. So how do you address their needs? And is it a 2-year plan, or he'll be might be in a better situation than Bryce Young was coming in, but he won't be it'll be similar. And I don't want him, he's big enough to handle it. He looks NFL ready in person. And I think that he's special, but I think he has to, they got to help him, man. They got to help him. And I don't want to get, I feel bad for him, but I hope he just becomes what I think he can become, because I watched him for 3 years. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so I know that he's special. But it's just, they have to help him. I mean, unfortunately for the Bears, they have 2 of the top 5 picks. So if you draft somebody like that, you can get the second pick. Maybe you can get him a weapon. Maybe you can get him a Marvin Harrison. Because the way the draft is looking now, the top 4 spots will be quarterback.
Wow.
So if the top 4 spots are quarterback, somebody's dropping. So that means Marvin Harrison would have to drop. And, you can double down and do that. But if I was them, I might get a tackle. And just, I want to protect my guy. You know what I mean? That's just how I would look at it. So, that's all I got to say. I'll talk about it more during the draft. We do draft stuff, but I'm not going. Nah, that's it. That's all I got to say. Nope.
I didn't rude, but I had to say it.
Yeah, man. And real quick before I reply, still, Ali, appreciate the donation. Don't see it, or I don't hear it when we're in this format because I'm not using OBS. But thank you, and thank you for whoever that was that reminded me that I missed it. He says the new kick return rules will benefit Austin and Patterson. Absolutely. I can't wait to see it. And it's funny, shout outs to Alex Kazur, because Alex Kazur was like, oh, this was a direct answer to the kickoff rules, that signing of Kadero Patterson. So couldn't agree more. And hopefully, we get more opportunities to return some kicks. Because, it's funny because I forget how to pronounce the kid's last name, but his first name, I think, was Edwin, right? The guy last year. Edwin had a couple decent returns.
Mm-hmm.
He showed a little bit of something. I don't know if it was wiggle or just will to, but he had some decent returns, but he just didn't get a lot of opportunities. So, maybe we'll get more opportunities. Man, in terms of the quarterback situation, and I'll be brief with it, I'm a little bit torn. I want both of them to do well if they play.
Right.
Where I'm torn is if Russell plays, then I'm like, does it put pressure on the Steelers to say, okay, let's do a long-term deal with Russell? And although, again, Kenyon is my witness. I've always loved Russell Wilson's game, man. Kind of the underdog, and just his deep ball used to just be like, wow, this kid is a baller. The Seattle days. Always root for him. But it's almost like now I'm putting on my GM hat. Do I want to extend or give a long-term contract to a 35? And I'm assuming, I don't know his birthday. He might turn 36 this year. Right. It's like, do you want to invest your future in that because he's playing great? Or would you rather Fields to work out? And again, I'm not sitting here saying that Fields is going to work out. I'm just saying we don't know how either one of them are going to play. So I'm just looking at two scenarios. If Fields plays and does well, I'm ecstatic. He's 25.
Yeah.
And if you can get Justin Fields to really play, he is the Steelers', I don't want to say Lamar Jackson because nobody is really quite Lamar, but he gives the Steelers that real element, design run, read option, where you really have to honor the threat of him running the football. And he has an arm on him. So just imagine if we can get him to play in rhythm or on time and he's really playing. And I don't even need him to be elite. Just imagine if you could get a Justin Fields with that ability, the physical gifts that he has to play well. I'm taking that any day in this division, the youth. So I'm a little bit torn because if, let's say, Russell go out there, starts the whole season, we win a playoff game, how you turn away from it? That's hard. Think about it, folks. That's going to be hard to say, well, thanks for that year.
Yeah, thank you.
We think we could do better with him.
But
and
maybe, but you don't lose anything doing that. I mean, what you're saying is that's cool, but I mean, you're a manager. If you sign somebody to a 1-year deal and you have to pay them that much money and you got the kid in the back and he progresses, I mean, what do you do? What do you tell your coworker? Yo, you were cool, but I got this dude waiting, or I got this person waiting, or this lady waiting. And let's keep it. Look, I like Russell Wilson. I think he's a great player. I think he's on track to go to the Hall of Fame. But when you bring in Justin Fields, and you're telling me what he's going to sit for 2 years, and then you give him the reins. I mean, that could happen if Russell was great, but and Justin Fields is technically he's the best running quarterback in the NFL right now because he's faster than Lamar, and he actually he gets more yards doing it. Do you want him doing that all the time? No, but he has that element to his game, and he had it at Ohio State. Woo. So my thing is, I want Russell to succeed. I'm rooting for him. I want him to be great. But the guy behind you, you can argue right now, he's the better quarterback. Yeah. But Russell has experience. I think Tomlin is going to go with the experience over the shiny new object that he has. And he loves Justin. But absolutely. If he gives him a chance to battle it out and he wins the job, look, they want competition. They want competition talking about. I want you to go to work and have a fear of losing your job. To me, that's the best way. That's the best way you get better. That's the best way you get better.
Only thing that scares me is, well, we'll see. Because con artists might not be done. I want to see them sign Justin Fields or extend him. Because I don't want to be in that situation at the end of the year where I don't think they're gonna pick up that. Well, if they pick up that option, then they're telling us what they want to do. If they pick up his 5th-year option at that price point, then we see Russell Wilson for 1 year. I don't think there's no way you can't pay Justin Fields that amount of money. I probably wouldn't do it to allow him to sit this year, but you definitely couldn't do it and let him sit next year. So I think if they pick up the 5th-year option, which I don't think they'll do, but if they do, there's that answer. Fields is the more long-term option. Thank you, Russell Wilson, for this 1 year, regardless how it goes.
Right.
Or if they straight up tell Justin Fields, look, we're just being honest. You haven't played enough for us to feel comfortable paying that $20+ million, but we do want to extend you. And if they do that, then I think what Kenyon just said could fall in place. They could still allow Russell to play, but they have more of a long-term future with Justin Fields. And for the record, that's what I want. Again, I love Russell Wilson, but if somebody told me, what would you prefer to do right now? I prefer to see what we can get out of Justin Fields. And yeah, man, the potential of him. And again, I'm not going to be one of these fans that, he was trash. And man, Chicago, it wasn't the best situation. And let's not forget, young. He was still learning the game. But look at those games that when he showed you what he can do, man, I'm over excited for what can be. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what he's gonna be, but what can be excites me about Justin Fields.
I agree.
So
and I think Russell's gonna help him. I think it's great mentorship, and Russell is the type of person. I think will be willing to mentor Fields, and I think that's a great thing. And to me, I think that's the thing that Fields never got when he got to Chicago. They kind of threw him into the fire, and I don't want, I just want him to learn a little bit, and learn about. He has things he needs to work on. He can learn a lot from Russell Wilson because he patterned his game after him. So if you're looking at a guy that you pattern your game after, and you're a little bit bigger, a little bit way more faster, more athletic, then you can do that. Can I respond to that?
Yeah, that's crazy, ain't it?
That's what I'm talking about. He's not. Yeah, it's just that's a good thing. It's that he's younger and it just helps you. I think that. It's a positive. The moves that Omar Khan made, or I like to call him OK made, great. OK made great moves. You know what I'm saying? And he put us in a situation where he didn't sit on his hands, and it's all positive. Everything is positive. Every move they made was positive. And I think he's playing chess. And I think he learned when he was underneath our former GM Colbert, who did great things, and I think he just put his little twist on it because he's really doing a lot of what Colbert would do, but he just put a little twist on it, and he's a little bit more aggressive, and that's about it. But he's kind of doing the same. He's playing that same shell game. His trade hustle game is great. I'll just say that. His trade hustle game is great, and he learned that from Colbert because Colbert used to do that stuff all the time. You know what I mean? So it's all positive. So I'm just positive about it. And I'm looking forward to seeing the competition and seeing how Fields develops and seeing how Russell Wilson comes into camp. But we still got some pieces to add. So
absolutely.
One last thing. When I was checking the comments and people were talking about, Justin Fields is going to get traded, some guy said, he doesn't have a choice of where he wants to go, but that wasn't true. Chicago knew they did him wrong, so he had other options, but he wanted to go to the Steelers. For all you Tomlin haters. Saying stuff about him, that says something about him.
Yeah. Nisha, they're not going to.
Tomlin cannot watch everybody. He is the head coach of the decisions. Tomlin makes a lot of the decisions, but that's why he has position coaches. And there's something in security called span of control, and it means that one person can only effectively supervise 10 people. So you got to give him a little bit of credit. He did this, he did that. He's doing the best he can. That's why he's got Arthur Smith, Terrell Austin, Danny Smith chewing his gum. He cannot be everywhere all the time.
Well, he got to listen, guys. Like I said at the end of the year, and I'm not going through this again, but we got to win another playoff game. Like nobody is turning a blind eye to that. Yeah. Two things can be correct. I do think Mike Tomlin is a great coach. Yeah, I said great. And there's different categories of great. Like Bill Belichick is great in his own right.
Right.
And Andy Reid, and there's many others. But I would say great too with Tomlin's all around, just how his approach to the game and the relatability he has with the players and keeping the locker room together. Like, come on, you got to give him his flowers for that. But he's not without his warts. Yeah. Absolutely, we need to win another playoff game. Like the drought has to end. We're not absolving him, but yeah, I think he gets a little too much hate, man, because it could be worse. Look at the other teams around the league.
Okay, have you seen the other teams?
It could be a lot worse.
But see, it's not the real Steelers fans that hate Tom.
Well, that's true. Let's just be real here.
Let's I mean, I know Sim. I love you, Sim, but I have to be the anti-you. We're the same, but I don't have to be the good cop in this situation. You know what I'm saying? The reality is you don't like Tomlin. We all know why. For whatever reasons you have. It's 2023 and we still on that, which says a lot about human society. But but other than that, it's like you don't want people around you that just jumps in the car when the car is moving smoothly. You don't want those people around you because when everything breaks down, they're leaving. They're going to leave you.
They're
And it's just the reality of the situation. If he gets to a point where he has to go, fine. But I'm like Sim. I'm a Steeler. I'm married to the Steelers. Everybody else, Tomlin is my wife right now. Will be my wife equivalent. Everybody else, they're like, I don't want to say this on the show, but you know what they are? They're like side pieces, side chicks. You know what I'm saying? That's what they are. So I don't really have an investment like that. But as long as he's the coach, I'm gonna rock with him until he gets to a point. We all get frustrated with coaches or players.
Absolutely.
We just do. It's just human nature, and it's great that you do. You should voice your opinion, but it's just almost. I think when it's constant, and everybody wants to take a side and they stay on their side. You don't have the ability to look at the big picture. That's when I get kind of, But yeah, man, it's Tomlin has done some great things. I think he self-evaluated himself. I think OK and him and Rooney got down and got it to and sat down and really mapped it out and had a talk. And one thing about Tomlin, which is interesting, is he's open to change, but he has his ways that he knows will work. Everybody has stubborn parts of him. If you always, if you're open to everything, you'll fall for anything. Those are like facts. Like when you're open to a lot of stuff, you will fall for anything. So you have to have a little bit of, you got to stand on yours at some point. So I'm excited what they're doing, and I just can't wait. I can't wait for the draft, because then we'll see the puzzle pieces really come together and what they do in the draft. Yep. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And real quick, Stillberg, appreciate the donation again. I do have it in here. Hold on. I forgot I loaded it up. I got the round of applause up in this software too. Hold on. There you go. And that goes for it was Steeler cards with the first one, and this one Stillberg. So appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. He says, with the addition of more speed on offense, do you see the middle of the field opening up for Pat and Darnell? And I would just simply say yes. It should in theory, because again, if Arthur Smith comes in with the same mentality, even though Tomlin said something interesting today, he said, listen, this guy is adaptable. Don't think he's just going to be the Arthur Smith that everybody just assumes he's going to be. Right. So there could be wrinkles in his philosophy. But if he does come in with the approach of running the football, loading up, taking deep shots down the field, there are going to be some scenarios. I absolutely think that play action is going to work across the middle of the field as well with the tight ends. Yeah. And I do think we're going to see more of Darnell Washington. Why wouldn't you utilize him?
I'm glad you brought that up.
Absolutely. Yep.
I think Russell, I'll say this. I think because people say Russell don't throw to the middle of the field, which is the same thing people had to play with Kenny up or the last offense. Let me say that. I think that Russell's never had a tight end like Pat. So you have to look back at in the Seattle days, you never had a tight end like that. Their whole offense was play action, throw outside the numbers. That was the offense. So I think now that you have somebody like a Pat, and I think I agree with Sim totally that Darnell Washington will be involved a little bit more as a receiver as well as a blocker. I think Russell has to attack the field with the play action opportunities that they will have. So it's Arthur Smith offense isn't just play action, deep ball. It's not like that. He will hit the middle of the field. He did in Atlanta, and he would use that a lot, but he just didn't have a quarterback. So now he's going to be in a situation we could do it. Tannehill did it, threw it to the middle of the field. Remember Jonnu Smith? Jonnu Smith, when he was in Tennessee with them, that's what they attacked in the middle of the field with Jonnu. So those things are things that I think you will see in this offense, and I think Russell's never had a tight end like that or two tight ends that he may want to throw the ball to like that. So I just want to see it evolve and see how if Pickens evolves as a route runner and improves on his stems and improves on his routes, because that's important. And then whoever they bring as the number 2 quote unquote receiver or whatever, we'll see how we'll see what they're bringing. But there's so many receivers, and we'll get into that during the draft time. But it's a lot. It's like 30. So but I can't wait to see it, Sam. I'm excited about that. I want to see that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Can't wait. Can't wait to see what they're gonna do.
Yeah.
Let's see. Next question. Lanisha, what is your favorite move so far of the offseason?
The quarterbacks. I like him. I enjoy it. And you know who else I like? Deshaun Elliott. I really enjoyed his press conferences because I think they were just kind of down to earth. You know how the press is with their questions. But I think one of the funniest things I saw is Coach Tomlin's birthday is March 15th, and Russell Wilson and Patrick Queen were there. He was so happy. I usually don't see him that much. Yeah. He's so excited. He's like, "Oh, let's take a picture." But that has to between, I would say, the quarterback moves, Patrick Queen and Deshaun Elliott are probably my favorites. You know, I didn't know that much about Dante Jackson, who's coming from. God help that team. But he seems like he'll be, a solid player. And from what I heard, I don't know if it's true. Deontay didn't want to be traded. He didn't ask for a trade. It was just, they needed somebody. We needed somebody. So I think it was just a fair swap.
What you think, Kenya? What's your favorite move so far?
I have to agree with Lanisha. Yeah, it's the quarterbacks because there's nobody else that I'm sitting there saying they're going to come in and do. Yeah, because they didn't get a lineman. I'll say this. I like the safety. I like him because I think he'll help Minka a lot. Yeah, because he's more of an in the box guy, and it will free Minka up. You got to remember they still got Casey. Casey's still on the roster.
Oh, that's right.
Just want people to understand that. Katie's still on the roster. So as Sim shakes his head and says boo.
Well, it's a new year. So
that's what I'm saying.
He has a chance to earn his name back.
And he was hurt. Yeah. So he got hurt. So it's not an excuse, but he got hurt. So he played well his first year. That's what I'm saying. You can't pick years, man. You got to look at the overall thing. So I think he'll help, and I think that I think he's nice. So I'm really gonna, and I'm not opposed to them getting another safety. And if they want to do that, another safety in the draft or whatever. So I'm not opposed to that. So, but as long as they can help Minka and free him up a little bit, I'm cool with it. And I think Tomlin is cool with it because somebody asked him, he was like, "Hey, I was great with Minka last year." Just the reality is that people are not gonna throw his way. And the Steelers tried to move him in positions to make plays, but if the plays aren't coming towards you, it's kind of like that Deion Sanders stuff. You know what I mean? The Deion Sanders had that. I won't throw to your side, take you out the game. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of I like the safety. I like that move, and I'm looking forward to that. What about you, son? How do you?
I did want to see them bring Eric Rowe back. I wanted him to get a chance.
I agree. Yeah.
And maybe it was just a small sample size. Like you're right. I don't want to get overblown with that, but yeah, I go up and down with KZ, man. Sometimes he just takes me off because he never seems to locate the ball, but he did play better in his first season with us. So I will say that.
Yeah.
Just to say something different, of course, I agree with the quarterbacks as well as Deshaun Elliott. I really agree with a lot of the moves they made, but I'm going to say my favorite one. It's hard to say that, but I'm gonna just say it. I like Patrick Queen, man. Only because, and this is the only reason why I say it's one of my favorite. It shows me that they recognize that they really needed to do something at inside linebacker, and not try to piecemeal it. And I appreciate that move a lot. Now, whether he's gonna pan out or not, because again, I've already seen people say, "Oh, he ain't gonna be the guy." Man, you cannot satisfy certain segments of Steeler Nation. I don't care what you do. They don't like no move. They have all the answers. It's hilarious to me. But you cannot deny, was this dude not a top 5 inside linebacker last season? You might make him, he might have been a top 3. I'm just trying to think of who else is out there.
Well, his running mate was better than him.
That's true.
So you saying I'm going with you. I'm just following you. I'm following your list. Okay, so you're saying
you know who the top 2 are as far as a tandem.
Right. So you're taking San Francisco, both of them. Both of them are great. So that's 3.
Both of them.
That's 3.
And Roquan, yeah. But who else? I'm trying to think who else is Who else can we undoubtedly say? And I might be missing people, so y'all help me in the comments as well.
Would you put Kansas City linebacker that we loved there?
Ooh, Bolden.
Would you put Bolden there?
Yeah, Bolden consistent too, boy. Yeah, see, Bolden might be in the top 5 for me.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. He top 10. Top 10, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you start going up around the league.
Trying to think, can we get all the way to 7?
Let me see.
Who sticks out?
How many you named? How many have you named so far?
We got 5 so far, including 5. Queen.
Okay, so I'm just going through each team. The Raiders.
I feel like we're missing somebody.
Cincinnati?
Oh, I like that kid. I like Wilson.
Yeah. I give Queen edge over Wilson.
Yeah, I give Queen a little bit of an edge there. What about homeboys from that was with the Chargers?
Oh yeah.
I can't remember his name.
But I have Queen over him too.
Yeah.
What about Seattle? He's older, but would you say who was at Seattle, who just went to Washington?
Queen. At this stage. Somebody and Luis said Devin Bush should be top 5.
the Colts middle linebacker.
Oh, my boy. Franklin.
Yeah, he's a stud.
Zaire Franklin. Yeah. Okay.
Because Zaire can cover. He can do the same thing Queen can do. He can cover. They both can do the same things. So I might go with Franklin. Just like a little bit, but Queen right there. It depends on how you feel. Okay, he's top 7. He's top 7.
So like Kenya said, even if we stretch it to 10, if you get a top 10 inside linebacker in the NFL, that's not a miss, folks, especially considering what we've been missing. And I like the pairing I like that 3 better than Holcomb, Landon Roberts, and Quan. You throw Queen in there. So now you basically take Patrick Queen, Landon Roberts, and Cole Holcomb if he comes back. I like that rotation. Because Cole started coming around before he got hurt.
Yeah.
And then Landon Roberts really showed his guts and, what he could be when all of those guys went down. But, man.
Is Cole going to be healthy? See, here's my thing. Beginning of the season, I don't think Cole is healthy.
Yeah.
So to me, I'm looking at it's going to be. You know what I mean? So who's the third linebacker?
Oh Lord, not Mark Robinson, because Mark Robinson don't seem to have. He just ain't got it yet.
But he's a project.
He's a project. Yep.
You know what? See, I always look at draft picks the way they got drafted. That's how I look at them. I don't look at them like, you know what I mean? So if Mark Robinson wasn't supposed to start, he's supposed to be a project. And he's in his, third, fourth? He might get better. He has deficiencies. He can't cover. He's not really good at covering, but he can thump.
He can, downhill.
He can do that.
It's 1st and goal. Come get in here.
You know what I mean? And if Cole is healthy, I'm with Cole and Queen. I like that. I like Cole Queen. That's what I was calling him before Cole when I thought about his injury. But if Cole can't get back, because that injury was gruesome. So if he can't get back to, it's gonna be that's your tandem. It's gonna be Elandon him. And Elandon outplayed what I thought he was gonna be.
Absolutely,
it was refreshing. Yeah. It was refreshing. But look, I think the Steelers.
Kenneth Murray. That's dude's name. Yeah, appreciate that Steeler cards. Yeah, Kenneth Murray. Yeah, he's nice. But I'm with Kenyon there. So I'm not, man. I think that's one of my favorites only because I haven't felt like we've had an inside backer that can do some of the things that Queen is able to do since Shazier. And Shazier was just a freak. It's just I ain't comparing nobody to him. Because if y'all remember, first year was a little rocky. Remember when he was shooting the wrong gaps and all of that?
Yeah.
By that 3rd season, man, Shazier was phenomenal. Phenomenal. And he covered up a lot of deficiencies in that defense.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. But I think sideline to sideline, we got one.
I mean, the test is now. The test is now because now he's not gonna have Roquan now. So now, see now you find out who somebody is when they don't have the other person. You know what I mean? So so if he's what people think he is, it's a great sign. So
we shall see. Luis, man, appreciate the donation. Thank you so much. He says, good evening to everyone. Would it surprise you that Justin does become the Steelers' next franchise QB, and should the Steelers bring back Pat Pete? I would say no, it wouldn't surprise me. And only if we had to with Pat Pete. And that's no disrespect to him, but what Pat Pete offered us was limited. I think if he comes back, I'm only putting him in the slot at this point because Jackson is more likely going to play outside. So, speed-wise, I would take Jackson and Joy Porter Jr. at this stage of, the NFL over Pat Pete. Because we saw what happened to Pat Pete when he get caught out there on the island. You're not going to really play him at safety as much this year because we got that pretty much locked up. So, we appreciate Pat Pete, but he's a little over the hill, man. So those are my thoughts on that. So yeah, but all right, man. We here to the final question, and look at us. We right up almost at 10 o'clock. Perfect timing. Final question. And I'm sure we'll be brief with this one because Kenyon ain't going to spoil it yet. But my question going to Lanisha first is, so what are you looking for in the draft in terms of, let's say if you could have it your way, the first 1 or 2 picks, not necessarily the person, but if you could have it your way, knowing what we know today, what direction would you like to see them going as far as the first 1 and 2 picks, or even just one?
Here's what I need help with. Okay, who's left on the O-line? We definitely need a center. I don't know why people keep saying, "Oh, they got to find somebody." They already know that. They're not, they know that. So stop telling them. You got Broderick Jones, right? You still got James Daniels. As much as we may talk about him, Dan Moore. I want to see the O-line get shored up because we can't keep playing like we have been these past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd like to see somebody on the offensive line. Be honest with you. Because anybody else that I missed? Because I'm like, who's left? I'm sure I'm with you, somebody, but I thought
you have Siamalu, Dan Moore,
Broderick. Herbig might be the center.
Might be the center.
I've heard that. I heard that is a possibility.
And then you have Stanley. They like the rookie they got last year out of Maryland. They like him a lot. They move him all around.
What's that other kid too? It's a tackle. Not Spencer is the one you talking about, I think. Who's the other dude?
But Spencer plays all those positions. Spencer is position versatile. He can play center, tackle, and guard.
Oh, Dylan Cook.
Yeah,
I think they signed him to a futures deal or something.
Okay.
Yeah.
So where you want to go, Kenyon? First 1 or 2 picks. It's your preference.
I don't know if I should talk about this today.
And you definitely don't have to.
I'm being honest. I don't think I should talk about it because I don't think that. I don't think I'm gonna talk about it because I think when we do that when that show, I'll talk about it then, but I won't talk about it now because I have ideas, and me and Sim always have these conversations. So I don't want to say one thing and then you think I'm really, because my mind is shifting just by what they do in free agency, which is what I said before, that I don't really formulate an idea of what they would do until free agency. Right, I'll just say this right now. I'm saying best player available. That's it.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at. So I guess the question would come to you if you want to answer that right now.
I'll give a theory, but I definitely will reserve, especially once I get more, through more of the people I want to look at. A theory would be, I'm not mad at going center first. I ain't mad at that because I do feel like, at first, and I've gone back and forth with this even with Kenyon. I used to feel like, I don't know if I want a rookie center and da-da-da-da-da. But I mean, you look around the league, some of them dudes came in and would you take what Creed Humphrey was able to do in year 1 and 2? Sure. Yeah, why not? So I'm not going to block that off and say it can't happen. If you get the Oregon kid or the other one, I'm not going to be mad at that. If you want to take a swing in the first round, and then second round is one or two positions. I would say you don't have to go receiver that early because there's so many of them, but I ain't mad at that. And I'm also not mad at a tackle. The reason why I would say that is I really would, and I don't know if the Steelers are going to do this, but I really want to see if they start grooming Broderick Jones to get on the left side a little bit.
Yes.
Is he ready to do it yet? I don't know. I don't know how many reps they're going to give him, but if they do that, if they draft a right tackle, then I wouldn't be mad at that, because then that lets me know that they might be planning to see if Broderick Jones is ready to get on the left side. So that's where I'm at today, but that might change. I might feel differently a couple of weeks from now. Corner could still be in the mix. You just never know. And like Kenya said, best player available. Yep. Depending on who that is. What if the best corner is available? So I would not be mad. I'm not even mad at the inside backer. But I've heard that the position ain't that deep.
No, it's not. So, you don't draft one in the first round.
Maybe not that.
I think basically, here's what I would say. I think Broderick is a better left tackle than he is a right tackle. The difference between the two players is that Dan Moore has been risk averse to go to the right. He hasn't adjusted to wanting to play the right side, whereas Broderick can play both. He's the better athlete. I think his natural position is playing the left tackle. So if you draft a tackle in the first round, that may solidify that you can move Broderick, or they can move Broderick anyway. And OK has said that Dan Moore may have to train at that other position because they like Dan, which is the thing people seem to forget. They like him. That's why they keep him. So it's just a matter of what you're doing in that situation. So I would just say that I think Broderick can play. I think he should be a left tackle. And if you get somebody, I'm not saying no names, if you get the other kid out of Georgia and let him play Mims, that's an option. But there are other options. But it's too early. Right? It's still early. So,
it's way too early. Well, yeah, that's why I wouldn't be mad if the first two picks ends up being center tackle or center wide receiver. I wouldn't be mad at that right now. Even though wide receiver is deep, still, if you recognize one that you feel like you want to get earlier, I ain't mad at that.
Yeah.
Because outside of Pickens, who else are we excited about? Yeah, you can't really say that. Calvin Austin, Quez Watkins, Van Jefferson. Maybe we can get some life out of him. But you're not excited. You're not basically. You need at least two guys that you should fear in today's NFL. You need a guy, even at this degree, and I could end with this. This second guy might not be a beast, but you at least need a Gabe Davis to a Stephon Diggs. You at least need that. You at least need that other guy that's like, whoa, here's the star, but this boy, takes the top off. And you at least need a threat. I don't think any of those other dudes are threats. Now, can they become that in the offense? Maybe, but ain't nobody scared about receiving core right now. Because even last year, people would always say they got Deontay Johnson, they got George Pickens, and those two dudes were legit threats. We ain't got no second threat right now, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't. GP hasn't shown the ability to beat you every play, which is something. And that could be lack of him getting targets, but you just need another guy that you fear. I know Sim says you need two. I think you need three. I think your slot has to be dangerous. I think your number two has to be dangerous, and I think your one has to be dangerous. Because all I have to do is look in my own division and look at Cincinnati with Burrow, and they had three. And I'm saying Tyler Boyd is the weakest of them all, but he still got open in the slot, and that's my point. You feared all three of them, and you had to game plan for all three. And, I don't think the Ravens have three. I think Cleveland's trying to get three. That's why they traded for Judy. And I just think you need 3 guys. If you got 3 guys, whether it's a wide receiver or it's a tight end, you need 3 guys on offense, weapons, wide receivers that can do a little damage. You know, Kansas City doesn't necessarily have 3, but they have the best tight end in the world, and he opens everything up. So it's that's how I would look at it. So they will draft receiver.
And again, I love some of you guys' comments, but I'm just going to comment real quick on what Malvo said. He says, GP is Gabe Davis. We need a Diggs. Oh, okay, I can see where you're going with that. But when you come back and say, we don't have one threat, anybody's crazy if y'all think that George Pickens is not a threat. Throw the ball in his direction. Come on, man. Stop. Y'all got to stop. George Pickens is dangerous. He might not be the best route runner, but when the ball comes his way, yeah, I'm scared if I'm the defender. This boy is a serious problem. So, yes, he is a threat. Let's stop. You can't say he's not a threat. Yeah, come on, man. Come on. And last year, he even showed you that he's a threat to make somebody miss at the 14 and take it 86 yards.
That's true.
What are y'all? What are you talking about here? Like, what? But my bad. I just had to say that. But anyway, guys, I got to go. Excellent show tonight, man. I appreciate Kenyon and Lanisha tuning in tonight. I love when we can do the still table and have more of a conversation, and it's not just me talking. For any of you guys that came on late, I think this is going to be the schedule at least through mid-March, you know, once my son is done with AAU. I told you guys Tuesday night practice is from 7 to 8:30, so it's almost impossible for me to start at 8. But hey, it's off season anyway, so maybe we can adjust to 9 o'clock, and then, you know, when times where maybe I can come on at 8, I will. But anyway, it will change back to 8 eventually. But I just want to put everyone on notice. More than likely going forward, the time will be 9 p.m. So I appreciate everybody adjusting with me. But again, got to get out of here, man. Got to commute tomorrow, so I got to get myself to sleep. Kenyon's tired too. So everybody, we running on fumes right now. But appreciate Kenyon coming on. Appreciate Lanisha. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Simple sign off like I always do. Make sure you guys stay safe, stay healthy. God bless, man. Pray for those victims with that Key Bridge situation, man. It affected my commute today. Wow, horrible situation. So pray for those folks, man. Everybody stay safe. God bless. Good night. Thank you for tuning in. And I shall catch you in the next one. Peace.
Bye.